Impromptu.
Impromptu. hmm Just another player. I love that.
Just another player.
It should show up in just a minute. There it is.
Yep.
Okay. We are live here on the channel. We're doing an impromptu thing for members, which will go live for the public in a couple days. Probably I'll put it out on Monday. That way we have a video ready for Monday, and people have something to watch on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about yesterday because I was sitting here in my office over there, and I'm like, man, it's getting hot in here. And I'm just like, okay, well, I turned the fan on, and next one, then I just hear boom. And I'm like, that's not good. And all the power went out. So, crap. And then the power came back on like maybe like a half hour later. I'm like, all right, that's fine. So I started logging back into everything. I'm like, man, it's really hot. So I went and checked the thermostat, and it was like 78. I'm like, yeah, that's not how I set my thermostat in this 100-degree weather. I don't know about you, Geoff, and I understand you have bills to pay too, but I'm still not setting it at 78. I don't
No,
care.
you ain't surviving in that kind of temperature. I mean, not only you got the heat, but you also got the humidity of this area.
Right. So then I went to the vent and I put my hand by the vent, and it was like it felt like a fan. I'm like, huh? So I took the thermostat, what do they call those things? Oh, I just escaped my mind. Thermostat gun? I don't know, the temperature gun.
Temperature gun. Okay.
Yeah, and I it does like a little uh a red beam, so you can do temperature searches and stuff like that. So I did that, and it's like 82. I'm like, and then it was like 83, 84. I'm like, that's not good. It's getting hotter, not cooler. So I had to call the AC people, and they were like, yeah, we'll be there soon. And then I had to sit there and wait for them. Meanwhile, up here, where the office is and this setup, the
Mm-hmm.
temperature up here was 92. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing a live stream in
There's
92.
no way.
As soon as I turn this stupid computer on right here, it's going to make the room even hotter than 92.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sat downstairs in the fan and I read and, looked at different things of RPG books while waiting. And then I think, when did I text you? Like 6 something? I think something like 6, right?
No, you texted me earlier than that, I believe, saying, "Hey, ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
Not gonna
Well,
do it."
I meant for everything to come back on.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's about right.
Yeah, so we had to cancel the live stream then. So you're like, why don't we do one today? I'm like, okay, why
Just a
not?
little one. Just something to give the audience.
Yeah, it may not be that long. It might be just like maybe half hour or so. But I'm trying to think cool. I got the snowman cup here, so
What you got in there? Hot chocolate.
nailed it. No,
Think
uh,
cool. Drink hot chocolate.
wild cherry Pepsi.
Wild cherry Pepsi. Hey, that's not a bad flavor.
Hmm. Well,
Nothing beats
it's
out the old blue Pepsi.
no, no.
You did? Have you ever had blue Pepsi?
Yes,
It
yes.
always tasted like bath soap to me.
It was awful. Even Crystal Pepsi was awful. You remember Crystal Pepsi, right?
I do remember Crystal Pepsi. It wasn't that
Yeah,
much better.
that's
No,
why
I
it
tell
went
you,
away.
out of all the sodas, there is one that's my favorite, and it was back in 2011 when it came out. Was the Gamers Edition of Mountain Dew for
Code
the
Red.
board for the World of Warcraft.
What flavor was that?
So they had two. They had one for Alliance and one for Horde.
Hmm.
So one was wild berry, and the Horde one was cherry citrus, which you think it wouldn't go good together, but man, that was my favorite flavor was that citrus cherry, and I keep trying to recreate it. They don't sell it anymore.
I don't remember that flavor. It was a Mountain Dew. I mean Mountain Dew does a lot of flavors.
Look it up. Put it on screen.
All
Horde
right.
flavor, Horde flavor Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay. I remember these. Promotion started on yeah, let me share my screen here. Present. Share screen. Window. Where is it? Here. There.
So,
These flavors right here, right?
yep, those are them.
Yeah. I don't think
The
I ever drank those ones. You said that they're pretty good?
uh, in my opinion, the I tried them both. I'm not much for the berry flavor, but I was
Mm-hmm.
definitely that citrus cherry just hit everything just fine.
Hmm.
It had the sweetness of the cherry with the citrus flavor of the orange. It was just perfect.
Hmm. Interesting.
You used to be a WoW player, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I played WoW a lot, and hey, welcome to the stream, Rick. Crystal
Hey,
Pepsi
Rick.
Pepsi was better than New Coke. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing up on here, but
Yeah,
whatever.
it's not
Oh.
showing up on the comments.
Yeah, that's weird. I looked over at the dashboard and saw him. So
I
hmm.
mean, Coke has its tendencies. For every once in a while, I have a flavor for a nice Coca Cola. I mean, Pepsi's my preferred, but every once in a while, I'll go with that Coke.
Yeah,
It's like debating your favorite root beer. Which one's your favorite root beer?
mug probably.
Mug's not too bad. I like A
Yeah,
and W too.
you, you really can't get mug here. I don't really see it here that often.
It is a rare uh, commodity here in Texas to get mug root beer. You'll find A and W because A and W is I think comes from Coke, um, but they both have a nice vanilla aftertaste to them. That's what makes them so popular. But for the life of me, I don't know who enjoys Bart's.
Oh, Barks root beer.
Yeah,
Barks has bite. Yeah, that was a big northeastern root beer. Mexican Cokes rock.
yeah, they
Uh,
do. I've had a few of those. They're really sweet because they actually use sugar as
mm-hmm.
opposed to whatever. But no, Bart's is a spiced root beer as opposed to a vanilla root beer. That's why they say it
That's
has a bite.
that's funny because I like Pibbs.
Mr.
Pibbs.
Pibbs,
Yeah, Mr. Well, I don't think it's Mr. Pibbs. I think it's just Pibbs soda now. I think they
did they
dropped the
change it?
Mr. Yeah. It used to be Dr. Pibbs and then it was Mr. Pibbs and now it's just Pibbs.
He's going through a divorce. He just can't handle himself.
Nah,
They call me Pibbs.
he's going through a life crisis.
I was once a doctor.
He was once a
Now
doctor, then he lost his license, yeah.
they did. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was was it malpractice to leave instruments inside my inside my patients.
If I ever get to GaryCon or Lake Geneva, try Sprech Sprecher's root beer. It's badass. All right. Yeah,
There's Go ahead.
I was gonna say I was gonna head up that way because I want to actually visit the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum, only for the simple fact that it's the museum and the Gygax like office, the first one. So was it the first one? I don't know, but I know all the memorabilia is there, and I want to see that, regardless of the situation with the Dungeon Hobby Shop. But I still want to go see that stuff because it's memorabilia of TSR. So
Well, make sure you take plenty of pictures.
oh, I planned on it. I was just talking to my wife about that, and she was just like, "Yeah, we should go there and take some pictures, and you could do a YouTube video and stuff like that." I'm like, "Yeah, I probably would do that. Make some people happy because I know a lot of people want to see that place." So
Take a picture of Gary's original dice that he used.
yeah, they have some of that stuff there, like his chair and his desk and everything. I'd be like, "That's cool to even see that." So this is where the man sat. All right. So, before we get into the main topic tonight, we just want to say thank you to everyone out there. As you can see, scrolling across the bottom, we did cross over 5,000 subscribers here on this channel. We appreciate everybody that's taken the time to hit that sub button, hit the like button, comment, and we really do appreciate it. And here's to another 5,000, right, Geoff?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all so very much for enjoying this channel, enjoying the shows, and participating in them too. I mean, we'd like to hear from you. We'd like to hear what you had to say. Your, you know, your comments is also, what gives us topics, which allows us to continue this channel.
Yeah, exactly. And we like doing things here on this channel. I want to do more streaming here on this channel, and not just for members. I think we should probably do some streams for just normal streams.
Maybe we can do like a slightly smaller, slightly shorter streams for non-members.
Like
Because I'm
half hour ones.
yeah, give them something to watch and to listen to while they're on the way home.
Hmm.
Because I like listening to stuff on my way home.
It would be cool if I can. Rick is saying it would be cool if I can give you a residence tour of gaming relevant Lake Geneva when I visit family. Oh, he can give us a tour. Oh, he's going to be up. That's right. He lives up that way, I believe, or did live
Nice.
up that way. He did live up that way at one point. So, well, anyway, thank you for 5,000. We're going to keep that across the screen because this is going to be our little happy celebration while we're doing it stream because it's a milestone. 5,000 is a milestone, and I never thought I would get this far. Didn't even think I would get 1,000, and we worked hard to get 1,000. Geoff was working in the background, being Geoff, pushing for videos and being a YouTube helper. I don't know what to call you. A YouTube helper, I guess.
I guess it'd be producer. I guess
I mean, you really weren't.
motivator.
Yeah, I was gonna say more of a motivator because you really weren't producing. You were just like, dude, you need a video. Dude, you need a video. So
Like, dude, do not stop. These people love your content. You need to put stuff down. And you were going
yeah,
through a bad phase there for a little bit.
well, it's because I didn't put any videos out, so people were just like, meh, and
Yeah, I mean, now that you're coming, back onto YouTube, people are actually seeing that you're enjoying yourself again. You heard me.
uh huh. Well,
You
like
gotta give people a show.
that's disgusting. Well, basically, like I've said in the last video, my videos are for the longevity. People will find the video somewhere down the line and be like, "Oh, good, I got someone actually covered that." That's my job. That's what I
Yeah.
like doing. Like I have someone who commented on the Army of Darkness stuff that I put up, and they're like, "Oh, I love this game," and I've never seen this person on the channel before, and I just like things like that. Someone commented again on the Star Wars, or they'll comment on the D&D stuff.
Hmm.
People will be like, oh wow, these videos are good, or my basic Marvel RPG ones I did, learning basic revise, the game that we played for Marvel. People are
Hmm.
like, oh, thank you for these videos. I put them out years ago, but people find them now. That's what my videos are. They're not out there for, I put them out and 3,000 people are like, oh my God, and they start watching it. No, that's not really what it is.
No,
It's a
I mean,
need basis video. That's what this channel is. Need basis video. There's plenty of channels out there that put videos out and they get video views on the long run. That's what counts. Longevity, not the
hmm
insta click. Not
no,
clickbaiting and drama hearing on this channel that no one will care about in a week.
no. Give it a month. I mean, give it a week. Give it a month. Nobody cares about you know current events that are happening in the news. You want to put out information, ideas. You enjoy this game. You love this game. And you want people to enjoy it too. So you give them ideas. You give them campaign ideas. You give them you know uh, spell ideas. Just flavors of how
Grab a,
things should go.
let me grab a comic book from over here and my comic book shop.
You really love that Batman.
I did a video one time in front of a background like this. It was a little bit different. It had like games in the background, and it had comic books, and it looked a
Uh-huh.
little different than this. And I remember someone commented on the video, "It was like, where's your gaming store? I want to come visit you." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're always sitting in your gaming store doing videos." I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry, that's a green screen." He's like, "I could not tell. It looks like a comic book store." I'm like,
Maybe you
"Well,
should
yeah."
maybe you should set it up your recording room to have like
I
a
mean,
like a,
yeah.
a store.
I mean, I could go to my local store. He probably would be like, yeah, that guy's actually really cool. Jim,
But
who
then
owns a comic book store.
you have to transport all your stuff back and forth. No, that'd be annoying.
He always he's always like, "Oh, I want you to. Can you come down, run a game again? I used to like when you guys ran games here." I'm like, "Well, I really mostly run it online now." He's like, "Oh, okay. If you ever want to run games, there's plenty of space here for you," because he likes the people in the store. So
What which store was that one? Was that the one where I came back?
mm, I don't think. No, I think during that time frame you weren't around because we were playing. We played 5e, and then we moved over to AD&D, and that's you came towards the tail end of that, so you weren't really around
Yes.
when we were
Okay.
because we moved to my house, the group. So
Yeah, because something happened, right?
no, it was too loud in the store.
Uh,
That's all. And every once in a while we couldn't play because they held Magic tournaments, and he wasn't being very upfront about them. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're running a Magic tournament. You can't play this week." I'm like, "All right,
Killing the vibe like real
yeah,
fast.
yeah." I mean, really,
I
what are
mean
you gonna do?
that's one thing about the games that you kind of need for ADD. You have to be you have to have a little bit of privacy because you have to
Yeah,
be able to hear each other. If you can't hear each other, and most groups can be loud and whatnot, but yeah, you have to have a little bit of quiet. Like when we went to Reaper, and like they had three or
oh
four
god.
different groups going at the same time.
I remember we used to play there at Reaper, and we would play upstairs when they used to have the upstairs open, and it was
Hmm.
fine when it was my group. But then when Michael brought his group, like an ass, when I told him not to, he kept bringing his group out of spite. But I was like, dude, we can't hear when you bring your group. Everybody's competing. He's like, "Oh, I have every right to play there as much as you do." I'm like, whatever. I think I was an ass.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's, yeah, you can't really hear somebody say their action when you hear you know I tap three greens and I pull out my goblin. I bet you do.
if that's what you're calling it these days, that's fine. Uh, yeah. Then they moved us downstairs to the painter's room. So when we were playing in the painter's room, this is after you were gone, we moved down to the painter's room to play.
All
We started
right.
playing 5e down there, and those painters were fucking annoying because they would purposely blast music and talk really loud to try to talk over us. And that was when we
Uh,
moved to. That's when we moved to the comic book store, and then we
yeah,
moved to my house, and then you showed up again.
there was two different comic book stores I remember going to. There
It
was the
was two different.
one where uh, Jacob kept on playing the Xbox, and the guy said, "No, don't do it."
Oh, that place is long gone. Yeah, that was the one
Yeah.
in the Armory that was called in Louisville. They
Hmm.
went out of business. They're long gone. Yeah, they had
That's
that room because I knew the owner, and he gave us that little room to play. And he's like, "Yeah, you could play, no problem. You can close the door and everything." But and then Jacob started playing Xbox in there because they had like an Xbox room. And that was also where he got shamed too to eat his food. They told him to go sit in the corner.
if there's anybody that should have been shamed, it should have been me.
Yeah, with your disgusting burps and because you were sick.
No, I was suffering from trisulfate acid reflux, so that's why it
My
smelled like sulfur.
God, we had to put the fan on you. I remember that when you came in the room, you're like, "Bruh." I'm like, whoa. And then you were purposely going behind the fan and burping into the fan. I was like, you're a dick, dude. You're a dick.
It made all you guys' eyes just water like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Geoff has not changed. He's been a dick since then.
Oh, that's never going to stop.
Nope.
But now I also remember that other store. I forget where it was, but yeah, they I don't suspect they lasted too much longer after we left.
No, yeah, the Armory went out of business. I don't remember the other store, to be honest. So, but moving along, we enough chat about that. Let's talk. Let's talk a little bit before we get to the main topic. You want to talk about the poll that we're doing on the channel because it's actually
Which one?
evolving.
Sheesh.
Well, it's a long going poll. It's actually evolving
Oh,
into a little story that people on the channel are actually driving forward. So I wanted to talk about that. Let me see
okay.
if I can make this a little bit bigger.
Make it bigger.
I know you like it
Bigger.
big, so thinner. There we go. You can read that now, right?
Yes.
So you started this poll right here. When your party moves into the next room, this is about a week ago, the door slams behind you and disappears. As your group stands there looking for a way to leave the room, 4 portals open up. When you look at each of them, when you look, each has a different destination. Roll 1d4 to see where your party chooses. And, people rolled and we found that the tropical beach, the yellow portal,
Look, they
had
got
won.
30 votes on there.
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of people don't see the community tabs. That's why I'm also bringing it up. So look at the community tab because we always
Look at the
have
community
something.
tabs.
No, really, look at the community tab because we always have something going on there. I try to at least post, new videos up there, a message or something like that. So we determined that this one, it's still open. You can still go vote in these polls if you want and change the outcome, even though Geoff and I picked what the outcome is. But a yellow portal goes to a tropical beach. Okay, so then Geoff had the story come up here. Your party enters one of the rooms of the abandoned temple. As soon as the last person steps through the threshold, the door slams, blah, blah, blah. Stone behind. As the group searches their way out of the 4 portals, after a brief discussion with your party, everyone chooses the least hostile looking one. After stepping through the portal closes up. You find yourself on a warm tropical island, a cool sea breeze keeping you comfortably in your armor. Keeps you comfortably in your armor. While looking around, a member of your group points at a ship wrecked on the beach. When you look closer, the ship has a vague resemblance to the ship of your party's homeland. Everyone's like, huh. So then the next poll was, you reached the shipwreck. Upon closer inspection of the wreckage, you see that the ship was from your homeland. Now roll 1d4 to see what your party does first.
That guy
So
got 26 votes.
Yeah. So this is kind of like we're doing your choose your own adventure type thing going on here. And we're letting the people navigate this type of story. And I thought it was a really interesting and good idea when he brought this up. So I'm definitely pushing for people to vote on these things. So a 1 was check to see if damage should be repaired. 2, navigate the room and try to find a map. 3, go to the galley and see if you can get some more supplies. 4, look around the area for survivors and bury the dead. And then loot the ship. I mean, it's a ship. It's got to have treasure. So I guess a couple people didn't care about rolling dice and decide they wanted to loot the ship. But
I will give people the options,
Yeah. 4 was they basically won. Look around the ship and bury the dead. And then we have, after fighting off some of the wildlife scavengers, your party, wow, you go to the bathroom too. Your party finds the...
You got to go sometime. You just got done with the temple, so...
Oh, yeah. Your party finds the bodies of most of the crew. As you move the bodies to the central location, you hear a faint groans of pain coming from the bodies. You find a small group of the crew are still alive, though they are severely weak from the lack of nutrition. Your group separates the survivors from the dead and moves them to a safe location. Roll 1d4 to see what happens next. So we have, you hunt the rest of the wildlife scavengers.
16 votes, so it's still going downwards.
I mean, I'm not worried about it because most people don't see the community tab, so... and what won for this one with 38% is you gather some usable material to make a temporary shelter. And this is when we had technical difficulties.
You practice your sea shanties didn't win?
No, it didn't even come close. So, yeah, you drink from your wine and practice on this one?
Yeah. I also go by some of what the comments say.
It just says, damn it, why do people ask me to roll a dice when I don't have one handy?
Go to the one before that one.
All right.
Oh, okay. Or go all the way to the top. That one right there.
It's one comment.
No, wait, go. I think the one below that one, actually.
That's one comment. This one has no comments.
Oh,
no.
Never mind. Go back.
There's no comments.
Look at that one comment right there. Someone had said something, and I used that in the next one.
Maybe what Rick said?
Something about... No, it wasn't what Rick said. No, someone said something about being comfortable in their armor, and so that's why I added the you feel comfortable in your armor.
Oh, well, maybe they deleted it.
Maybe. But I actually
How
used that in the next one.
satisfied are you? I'm extremely satisfied.
Extremely satisfied.
So we had the technical difficulties post. Great picture you picked there, by the way.
Thank you. This from The Simpsons.
Yes, I figured it was. So the last poll we put up 17 hours ago, we only have 8 votes so far with 4 likes. We want some more people to vote. After gathering some building materials from the broken ship debris, you managed to make a temporary survival shelter.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, back at the Justice now. It might not be the sturdiest of structures, but it'll keep out the elements. After completing the shelter, the healer informs you one of the survivors is waking. When questioned, he tells the story about the horrors the crew had endured. And he is about to tell you the mission of the ship. A howl. Oh, you must miss a word there. The ship, a howl can be heard from the nearby jungle. It seems the scavengers have returned. Roll 1d4 to see what your party has done. Or will do. Or does.
that's 3 times.
Well, I mean, get the crew members to tell you the mission, get ready to fight, let those beasts know the taste of steel, take the crew members and run. They have a shelter. Set the jungle ablaze with the fear in their eyes. You start to sing some drinking songs to confuse the beast, which is not in the lead, thankfully.
Thankfully, which one do you? All right, so which one would you choose if you had a choice?
I would probably get the crew member to tell me the mission of the ship. Like,
So
damn
ignore
it,
the beast.
tell me
what it is, so I can go away.
Yeah, tell me what it is, so in case you die, at least I know what's going on here. Yeah, so that's the poll, and you will see a lot of these on this channel here in the community tab. That's why I wanted to point them out. And in fact, this one will be done in. Didn't you find a way to close the polls? I thought you did.
Yes, but I wanted to keep them up because that way you can kind of follow the story a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay. So anyway, this one will be open. We usually just try to end it in quotes after 24 hours and then try to move on to the next part of the story. So you'll probably see another story tomorrow or Monday, depending. So next week was 4th of July week, so there probably won't be too much going on here because I'll be out of town myself. I don't know about you, Geoff, if you're doing anything with your family, probably. So.
Well, I'm off on Thursday, so more like we're gonna do whatever we're gonna do on Thursday, and then we may have a barbecue on the weekend, but that's a maybe.
Okay.
So
cool. Let me look
I don't know
here.
I don't know what you're planning on doing. Just spending some quality time, family time.
My wife and I are actually going to Graceland.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
That hurt your feelings?
No, didn't hurt my feelings. We're actually going to the Elvis July Fest. I think it's called Elvis Fest or something like that. So,
Are you a big Elvis fan?
Yeah, we both are. I grew up listening. Yeah, I grew up listening to it with my father. That was his music, and that's why it's my music. Because your father would like something usually you do too. So.
Oh, my father was a I don't know how to say this. He enjoyed all sorts of music, but he definitely enjoyed the songs from the Beatles era.
Okay.
He's a big Beatles fan. I can't stand the Beatles.
I don't like them either, to be honest.
I like their original stuff when they actually enjoyed life, but after they started getting popular, they wanted to start trying new things, and it was just ugh. Get over yourself. Especially that Yoko. Oh my goodness.
Yoko. Don't forget to hit like on this video if you are here now in the chat, or if you are watching this post. Likes and comments help the YouTube algorithm. So if you're watching this post live, don't forget to leave a comment below. And I do like that some people are leaving stories in their comments. Have you noticed that?
No.
Did you? Yeah, there's one of the members, Jason. He keeps leaving comments, but sometimes recently they've been slowly morphing into a little story about this or that, and I'm like, that's very inventive. That's very well done. So I had to give him props for that. on the channel here. So I
I'll
like
have to
those
check that
things.
out.
Yeah, you have to look at some of the comments. He does a good job. Yeah, so we appreciate that. Now, on to the topic of the show of
Mm-hmm.
linking attributes, well, skills
Skills
to
to
attributes,
attributes.
or as
Yeah,
Corey would say, attributes.
attributes. Yeah. So we want to talk about things like all right. So you played third edition, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
You know how they have different skills right there, but
yeah.
sometimes you like the older editions, right?
I
So say original AD&D.
yeah, I played the original first edition. Yep.
You said you
Mhm.
didn't like the second edition AD&D.
No, I did not like second edition. To simple fact, that was the edition they started to pull everything out of it because they were so scared of the Satanic Panic that they started renaming everything, and they were trying to get away from Gygax, so they started renaming a lot of stuff. I never really liked second edition. I played it, but I didn't like it. I always went back to first edition just to. Mm. But go on.
So TSR and stuff like that. So um, no, I was thinking, well, what if you want to have skills in that kind of game without having to go into later editions? So what kind of skills could you link to certain attributes? So
Well, they had skills. They were called non-weapon proficiencies in first edition.
mhm.
Those were the skills.
But there's a lot of skills out there that they probably didn't cover too.
Oh yeah, there was tons of them. I mean, hmm. It was just a generalized thing. But yeah, go on.
So I was thinking, well, actually, this actually came from the idea of what you would consider a dumb stat. Like charisma. A lot of people think that charisma is a dumb stat, but as a DM, charisma can be used for several ideas, like
Yeah.
getting like bargaining.
Mm-hmm.
Bargaining is a big idea that comes from charisma. Like you go into a shop and let's say it's a warrior, right? So they put their points of strength and stamina, maybe dexterity, and kind of cut out the intelligence and the charisma, right? Well, you go in there, you have a low charisma. The shopkeeper looks at you and just make a charisma roll. Yeah, you get under and then or over, and the shopkeep not want to sell to you or may not want to deal with you altogether or may give you a higher cost.
Rick is saying that charisma is good for Ponzi schemes.
They are. I mean, and honestly, that's not wrong.
You
I
probably
wouldn't.
want to roll under the skill because that makes more sense. The higher the number, the
Oh yeah,
better it
okay.
would be.
Then that makes much more sense. So that kind of brought me into my idea of like, you know, if you wanted to play an old school RPG, what things could you put as skills that aren't normally in the book or non-weapon proficiencies? So I mentioned bargaining. What's another good one? Something to do
That
with
is
charisma.
charisma,
Yeah.
intimidation, interrogation, um, social speaking in front of public speaking in front of a crowd,
See, I would put that more in intelligence too.
social speaking in a crowd to a crowd. I don't. Doesn't really take much intelligence. You need more charisma to do that.
Well,
You
you
could be an
need.
intelligent person, but if you can't speak in front of a crowd, your skills are wasted.
I mean,
You need both, I guess.
yeah, I guess you would be need both. I wanted to say something, but I'm glad I didn't say it. Um,
No,
uh,
please do, sir.
I mean, I did see the debate, so I guess you do need charisma and intelligence.
Well, that it was just. I'm not gonna, because I don't want to bring up politics because I'm trying not to
We're
do it.
not
But
picking
that
no drama, no drama. We're just leaving it alone.
I'm just gonna just say that it was just awful. But continue. No, the whole thing was awful. But continue.
Yeah. No, I think another thing you brought up earlier was talking in combat. I don't know when you brought this up, but
Oh, that was one of my podcasts. Yeah.
and somebody mentioned there is like, it makes sense if you're in combat, your character wanted to speak and inform the group something. Well, you would have to make somewhat of an intelligence check because you're in the middle of combat. You're focused on fighting. You're not focused on talking. And if you decide to say something, would you have enough knowledge of the battle to be able to say something?
I did not say those type of things, but yes, if you were running the game, you're more than welcome to do that in your game.
It makes sense,
I
doesn't it?
I guess I don't. I mean, I don't really go that too deep into it. If you're in combat, I mean, people shout things and say things all the time in combat. So strategizing, maybe you might need a little intelligence, but I don't think, hey, Geoff, go get that guy over there. It's just you could say that in the middle of combat, or I need some help over here. Or, fireball him or something like that.
And that's why I agree. That's why I say you definitely intelligence. That saying "help me" doesn't require because you're in pain, you're about to die, but you know saying "help me" doesn't. But saying "I need a fireball here," you're engaged in combat, right?
Yeah.
Your full focus is trying to defeat your enemy, and there's plenty of grunting and screaming and
Go on.
hi-yas going around.
Hi, Yaz. What is this, Kung Fu Theater?
Yeah, exactly. And the wizard's probably mumbling something to himself to cast magic missile.
It's like a drunk at the bar mumbling to himself, right?
So as you're yelling and screaming and whatnot, and hi-yaing, you gotta say, I have to take a second to look around. Well, you're not going to be able to have a second to look around while you're engaged in combat.
If that's something you want to employ in your game, then absolutely do that. But just make sure you tell your players up front that you're going to do that during your game. Like if they want to talk during combat, they're going to have to make an intelligence roll or whatever role you decide to make sure that they can concentrate enough to actually talk to someone in combat. Now, for me, I'm not really going to go that far because that's just too many rules on the books for me. And most games, they allow you to talk during combat. It basically says right in the book. Really simple things are easy to say. Complicated
Yeah,
things take your action. So you could say a quibble thing like, I need help over here. Quick, grab me a sword. Or go over there. If I want to be like, hey, Geoff, so how was tea last night with your mother? What did you guys say?
we were talking about the cookies. Tea
Yeah,
cookies.
cookies. Yep, tea and cookies. That was always that clerk's thing. Yep.
But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Saying I need help or I don't need help. That's simple. You can easily say that while you're in combat because you're
Right.
like I said, you're focused on one person. You know whether the situation's kind of going. But if you're telling someone, "Hey, go attack that hobgoblin over there," that requires you to stop, look around, and see the action, and then go back and.
If
It's
you
kind of
want to
like
do a roll, by all means, but I mean, the book leaves it up to your discretion. They say
it's
simple commands are fine, simple sentences are fine. Anything more, like carrying on a conversation, will use your movement or attack or whatever, turn, so to speak.
so you're just doing a head shop. Oh, by the way, Bob, what were you and Sydney talking about last night? How was the movie?
No, that would definitely take up your turn, unfortunately. But if you're just going to be like, yeah, I need you to check over to your right, then that's just normal things that happen in combat. And I'm itchy today for some reason, probably because it was so hot outside.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you were in your own sweat yesterday,
Oh God, that was
so
awful.
no doubt you took a shower, but you still feel
Yes.
that little bit of stickiness to you. It's Texas heat for you.
Ugh. Rick is saying when I run AD&D, I use what's called understood skills. They are built in, like things like religion, rituals, first aid for clerics, paladins, among other things. Okay.
Well, that's understandable. So a paladin or a cleric would know a little bit of doctrine when it comes to religious stuff, and they would kind of know a little bit about other religions because that's their world. It makes sense for them. But
Hmm.
then you go into maybe a barbarian know about a city deity. You might have to make a roll then. But the
Yeah.
barbarian, they don't live. They're specifically wild folk, aren't they?
Yeah.
Have yourself a city barbarian. I live out in the wilds of the urban plains.
I live out in urban America and I make sure my lawn is always green and cut perfectly.
The urban barbarian. I want to see that show.
A barbarian that's been domesticated, yeah.
Uh,
I had some
but
tea today while I mowed the lawn. It was awfully hot outside.
I was perspir- perspirating. Oh my
Ugh,
goodness.
my goodness, this is sweat. Oh.
You know what that reminds me of? The old Geico caveman ones.
Oh yeah, yeah, those
The ones
commercials,
that
yeah.
got canceled because they thought they were racist.
They still use them though. I saw it recently.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about the show specifically.
Oh yeah, the TV show that they tried to do that was like one episode or something.
Like 3 episodes. Yeah. I thought that was a very good concept. It was like, okay, you got caveman in the more modern times. It
How
makes
is it?
sense.
How is it racist? I never saw it as racist.
Oh, people see colors and races where there is none.
That's true.
It's like it's like the new orc thing going on with Watsy. They can't leave those orcs alone. Just leave the orcs alone. Uh, but yeah, I mean, going back into the skills, like uh, say you're sneaking around thieving as a rogue or a thief, and you you kind of know a place, but you hear something in the distance, or you want to say something. Wouldn't you think a good intelligence check requires you? Like, if you all right, so you and your buddy are just sneaking into a place. You hear something in the distance. You kind of want to think about. Can you not hear me?
That was a joke. I was sneaking in and then I heard something in the
Uh,
distance.
you want to make an intelligence, but you also want to make a wisdom roll. Like, would you want to say something at that point in time? Would it be smart to say something? Not so much knowing what to say because you're sneaking around. There's no combat to happen, but would it be wise to say something at that point because someone might overhear you?
You would think that the player would know based on life experience of probably being a kid and sneaking around because we've all done it as kids. That when you're sneaking around, when you make noise, people will notice you sneaking around. I mean,
You give too much credit to the players.
oh,
how
do
many
I?
times?
I mean, how many
How many
times
times
what?
have our group has been trying to sneak by and we're just talking like it's casual?
That's because you guys are dummies. That's why.
Exactly.
And you guys like to argue every step of the way.
Well, because they have to realize I'm right all the time.
Yep. I mean, you guys like to talk about it, and Corey's like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go."
He
So
wants to get that mission done. He wants to get paid.
I don't know.
So no,
That's what I loved about David because David would be like, "No, I want to argue." So yeah.
oh, miss you, David. Um, but no, that just kind of some skills linked to attributes I was thinking about. Um, stamina, poison checks and whatnot. Uh,
Well, poison check
went
will be
over
handled by a saving throw,
by a saving throw, but yeah,
which is
but if you
based kind
didn't,
of off your constitution.
right? Don't know what kind of skills would be linked to strength other than combat skills.
Busting up a door, lifting something, uh, maybe even throwing something heavy, um, holding something apart, pulling a rope, things
Ooh,
like that.
that's good.
Yeah, there's all different
Man,
situations for strength.
so yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about that for a little bit,
Like we just did.
like we just did.
Like we just did, yeah. Oh, yeah, but you can link anything to any attribute as long as you've been playing for a while and you know how games work. You could probably link a lot of things to things if you don't have a certain skill. If you're a newer player, you're probably not going to know what's to what, though you could probably figure it out based on the description of the attribute itself. And you're the GM, so your call is final what it is. So if you want to say, I'm sneaking around, and you're like, yeah, I need an intelligence check. And the player's like, what? And you're like, yes, you need an intelligence check because you need to figure out what places to jump to in the proper amount of time so people won't see you. And you need your intelligence to spot those things. Oh, okay, Geoff. You know,
See, that makes sense to me.
it does, as long as you can justify how it's done. And obviously, you don't have to explain anything to any player. You're the GM. If there's a problem with your handling of a situation and the player has a problem, you say, no problem. We'll take this after the game and discuss it. Never discuss it during the game, ever. They want to have a problem, like, yeah, I don't really, this is not cool. Okay, well, then we'll discuss it after the game or we take a break. That's the proper time to handle those things, not during the game, because that will ruin the entire immersion of the game. It'll also break the game, same thing, break the immersion and ruin the story for everybody in the group. So instead of arguing with someone, just be like, okay, for now, just do this. We'll discuss it later on. And as long as you follow through with during the game, you know, if the game's over, hey, Geoff, you said you wanted to talk to me. Yeah, thank you. We're curious. He says ruins the flow of the game. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Ruins the flow of the game. Like, we were saying, just, you know, Geoff, we're going to talk now. Okay. Well, I didn't like you about me intelligence. I don't think that's right. The game shows that. All right. Well, this is the reason why I gave you that role. Well, that's fair, but, you know, you're having a conversation. Come to a, you know, neutral ground when it comes to those things. Like with Steven in our game, when I gave him that sword, the Dawnblade, I realized that it was way too powerful. And he was basically slaughtering everything. So I said to him, I took him, I was like, you know, dude, we need to talk after the game. I'm like, dude, we need to nerf this sword. I gave it to you. It was my mistake. I didn't think about the consequences. Will you work with me? And he said, yeah, no problem. I don't want to ruin the game for people, especially you as the GM. And we worked out another setup for that sword. Now, the sword's still powerful, but it's not as powerful as it was. It has its limitations now. When I made the sword, I was kind of rushing to get it done, and I must have left out a bunch of things, which I didn't realize. Gave it to him, and he was just like, moo hoo ha ha ha. So,
yeah, you give him any weapon of any like higher description other than a normal weapon, and you're basically making him into a slaughterhouse.
I am absolutely looking forward to when we play Call of Cthulhu and how he acts in that game. Because you know how he is.
We're planning on playing Call of Cthulhu?
Uh-huh. We will. It'll be after our Starfinder game, because that's Steven's pick for a game. He's been wanting to play it for a while, and it's his turn up next.
I mean, he realizes there's no winning in Call of Cthulhu.
He knows
surviving.
That. He knows that. He said he wants to play because he likes the atmosphere. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, dude. You're kind of the guy that likes to charge in and kill stuff.
Is he running it, or are you running it?
No, I'm running it. Yeah, okay. 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. I was debating on which one to do, Marcus, but I decided on 7th ultimately because it's the newest one out, 1. And 2, they revamped how everything's done, so it's a little more streamlined. So I'm going to go with that. I was going to do 5th because that's the only other one I have. other than
Mhm.
20th anniversary. I have 20th anniversary of that green book, but I don't really want to use that one because I don't know that one that well. So I was gonna do 5th, but then the pages fell out, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just get 7th edition. And then I had that podcast where I talked to Will, and Will basically convinced me that 7th edition is probably the way to go for new players and everything like that. So,
Are we planning on putting that on the YouTubes?
you mean Roll High or Die?
Yes, that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't do cameras. Nobody wants to do that for some
I mean,
reason. So,
I don't I don't want to do cameras either. I don't mind doing cameras, but no, are we gonna put the game on YouTube so for people to listen to?
Mhm.
Good.
well, I mean, every time I put up a Palladium Fantasy, you can listen to it on the YouTube channel too. So they're all there. Everything. I just about every one of them are up there.
Have people been listening?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good.
A lot of people actually enjoy the podcast on YouTube. I don't know why people enjoy it on YouTube, but who might have questioned it? They want it, they got it. So
They like us, arguing and bitching to one another. That's what they like.
no, I just know a lot of people. Every time I put the podcast up, they're like, "Do you have any? Is it on YouTube?" I'm like, no. They're like, "Oh, okay." So
Like loser.
yeah, Luther. Yeah,
Yeah, put it on YouTube, idiot.
yeah. That's
Uh,
why I put my personal podcast, the Evil Dungeon Master Universe, on YouTube because a lot of people were like, "Is it on YouTube?" I'm like, "No." Well, you should. So I put it on YouTube. People
yeah,
listen
that's
to it.
people used to do that back in the day when YouTube was newer.
Mm.
Is they used to have their own websites to go to because
Uh-huh.
YouTube back then wasn't monetized in any way. So to make any money whatsoever, you had to put it on your own website. But now these days, you can monetize the YouTube and make money that way. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm curious to saying YouTube is one stop shop. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is the
It is a
Walmart
one
of,
stop shop.
of websites.
And now YouTube has actually an RSS feed for podcasts and a whole podcast category that they came up with last year. Maybe before that, I don't know. I noticed it started popping up about a year ago. Shut up, Geoff.
Um, I'm pretty sure. I mean, one of these days they're going to have a YouTube shop where you could just sell stuff on YouTube as well.
You can. Yeah. It's part of the membership category. You can do like you could put your own little t-shirt shop up and everything like that, but I don't really have anything to sell, so
A merch shop. Yeah,
yeah,
and
kind of merch shop.
now that you mentioned it, I do see channels with that stuff. Like, come buy my stuff. I'm like, I can't. I'm poor. That's why I watch YouTube.
Oh. Google Podcast folded into YouTube. That's what it was. Yeah, I remember Google Podcast for a while. It was pretty popular. I guess it just, went into YouTube. Like everything else that Google does. They go, ooh, a butterfly. Let me just get rid of that now.
Let me buy that butterfly out and sell it on YouTube on Google.
Like, I don't know. Do you remember iGoogle?
No.
iGoogle was a one-stop shop where you can go to Google things, get your news, kind of like how Yahoo was at one point. Do you remember yahoo.com?
I do remember Yahoo.
Yeah, Yahoo was like a one-stop shop, and then Google tried to emulate it with iGoogle.com. And it was actually kind of cool because you had like this little setup and you could Google things. You had little boxes with things and news, and I liked it a lot. And I used it as my homepage until they decided people don't need this anymore.
Well, they just put everything on Google now. You don't have to have iGoogle. Everything's on Google.
On the Google.
On the Googleys.
On the Googleys, yeah. Oh my lord.
So we're gonna play Starfinder, play Call of Cthulhu, which undoubtedly will probably last 10 episodes?
Well, Starfinder's slated for 10 sessions or whatever to see what we think about the game. And then once we do,
I guarantee you that Starfinder will last more than 10 episodes unless you plan on just straight up killing us.
No, I don't, but that's the new pattern that I've been using now is 10 episodes look at it, see what we all think, and if, as long as everybody's cool, we continue. If some people were like, then we kind of moved something else. Itchy.
Did you put cornstarch in your shirt or something?
No, I also shaved before the podcast too, so that could be why, you know, itchy too. So
You got a little hair follicles in there. Yeah, that's probably it. You
yeah,
can
it's
probably
making me
just
itchy on
feel
the
them on your
shoulders.
skin right now, just crawling,
I hate
poking
you.
you
Shut up, Jeff.
in this warm weather where it's just getting annoying.
Sometimes YouTube is more convenient. Sometimes Spotify is. Spotify is great on the road. I've been revisiting the Star Wars episodes on Roll High or Die while I drive, unless I'm doing music. Yeah,
What's
Rick.
the,
Yeah,
what's their favorite part of Star Wars? Rick,
it's
what's your
yeah. Well, Rick, what is your favorite part about the Star Wars? I mean, that's a good question for Jeff and you out there as well. Those that have listened to the Star Wars podcast that we did, which is here on my channel, you can look it up. It's part of the actual plays. And you listened to it. Tell me why you liked it, other than it was Star Wars D6.
I mean, was it the fact that we never got to Coruscant? The fact that the Count just kept walking away? The Fisto 5000?
There was a lot of Count fans.
There is a lot of Count fans. I was a fan of the Count.
There was for a little short time period. There was a hashtag walk away going on on Twitter. There was a couple people trying to make it relevant. It didn't work, but it was the Count. I walk away hashtag. I walk away. So I don't know.
Oh.
People liked it.
God, there was so many fun little quotes from Star Wars, especially that miniseries that we had.
I'm guessing Rick is not caught up because he just picked Not in the Face, Pond versus Lake.
I was about to mention everything's about an hour away. Fun.
Everything was an hour away, regardless of what planet or where we were on the planet. It was always an hour away.
Cannibals everywhere. That was another good one. Not in the Face.
Warm bagel.
Warm bagel. But that was one of my favorite ones from the miniseries.
Yeah, Rick is basically just saying warm away, never get into Coruscant. Yeah.
Another one where you had was what was it? You had said adult magazines next to wet towel or something like that. I'm like, what?
I did. I don't remember that. Okay.
I'm like, what's going on in this hotel?
I don't know. I mean,
Oh, was it a gas station or something like that?
I don't remember that, dude.
Yeah, it was a very short time, and you try to forget it as fast as possible because you were rolling on a random loot chart or something like that.
I didn't. Me?
Yeah,
I wasn't running Star Wars.
Or it was a small one. Was it Corey that ran it?
Yeah, Corey ran Star Wars. I just played both of them.
Then he must have rolled on a random loot chart because I remember him saying that.
Yeah,
somebody saying that. It's like,
not me.
How are those two things common in a gas station? Abandoned gas station with adult magazines and wet newspaper nearby.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know, buddy.
Oh my goodness. Red lightsabers everywhere. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. Like we go to we find it like under a rock in the guy's desk. Way too many lightsabers in that. I mean, we all had like 3 at one point.
And they were like training lightsabers that we had compared to real lightsabers. Like, okay.
Oh, the short bit with the different characters as freedom fighters was also fun too. Yeah, I put a stop to that one because we started becoming like, I don't know, terrorists. So I was like,
we were starting getting on certain watch lists pretty soon.
Yeah, even Steven's like, yeah, I'm not having a lot of fun with this one. So, I mean, he's the one that won the side adventure, and he's like, "There's no consequences. Don't worry about dark side points." And that just like might as well just say, "Sure, guys, fuck up my campaign."
I mean, but that was like you and your villains in Marvel. No consequences. Okay, we'll just do whatever we want.
Yeah, but surprisingly, you guys were not as bad as you should have been. I mean, other than the whole 9/11 situation that you
No, don't look at me when you say that. I'm not the
No.
one that did that.
No, you weren't around for that. No.
When they blew up a building with Magneto or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have sent some sentinels at him or something. But you said you made him way too powerful.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't make anybody too powerful. Everybody was actually pretty balanced in the game. There was a little confusion on how the powers worked with some people, because some people like to abuse powers, but happens.
I mean, who wouldn't abuse power if they had it?
I don't know.
Are you ready to call it?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this impromptu live stream here.
Hope you have a good drive home or to work.
Or to work, or to whatever you're doing.
Or whatever you're doing right now.
I'll put this up Monday for everybody to view. Like Geoff said, we're going to try to do some maybe little live streams during the week or so. Maybe here or there, half hour, talk about something small. Like Geoff.
Well, I'm
He's
not
like,
small.
What? Okay.
You've been peeking.
I don't live anywhere near you, buddy. So.
Yeah, you're definitely not right next to me, Vince.
I'm not anywhere near you. Anyway, I'm gonna head out. Hope you guys enjoyed the. Oh no, don't worry. It's about coming late. You can watch it. I mean, this was impromptu, so you didn't know about it. I'm gonna set up the next time we set one up. You guys will know. The members will definitely know ahead of time. It was just because of yesterday was canceled.
Yeah, we're gonna
it's
Fridays.
It's gonna be not this Friday because I'm gonna be out of town, but
4th of July is coming up, so don't expect one this Friday.
Yeah, but normally it's gonna be Fridays for just you guys to have and communicate with us. It's your private thing for signing up, and it's an appreciation
and you
stream.
too, if you become a member.
And you too, 99 cents a month. You can have these private chats with us. And Geoff, I will leave, and Geoff can talk to you privately like this.
Hello. I'm glad you became a member. I hope you're enjoying my voice right now. Vince is out of the room, so it's just you and me. What was that? You want me to talk more sensual? Well, I can do that.
No. I'm gonna stop it right there. Stop it right there. No. No. We're not.
Want to get a little too hot for you, Vince?
No,
we're not gonna have. Stepped away.
Yeah.
Oh, did you pull it down on me? I just walk away.
Yeah, I walk away. That was Geoff's Asmir. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, folks. You have a great weekend. Rest of your weekend. We will see you during the week. Keep it original. Keep it old school. Remember, there's no drama here. There's no clickbait. There's all gaming here on this channel. Good night, everybody.